Good day, traders. Welcome back to another technical market overview. We know your time is valuable, so starting this week, we will be doing things slightly differently by taking a much more focused look at the markets, keeping the entire video to less than 7 minutes. I'm going to let the disclaimer roll, and I will see you back in the charts. Starting with the US dollar to South African rand. Since the start of the year, we have been consolidating between these two areas of support and resistance, as can be seen on the chart. We can see that for the year so far, we are green, as well as for the quarter, of course, but for the month so far, we are negative. Although we do have support at about 1475, that is very close to where price is currently trading, and as long as price can remain above that purple diagonal, of course, we do remain a long-term uptrend. Our swing level as can be found at our weekly pivot at about 1507, coinciding with that daily 100 SMA, and a break above that could then see us head back towards resistance at about 1540, with a break above that seeing us continuing into this uptrend. Moving on now to the EURUSD. The EURUSD is still stuck in this downtrend. You can see that for the year to date we are negative, as well as the quarter and for the month. Our swing point will be identified at 1.199, and as long as we stay below that, I believe it's possible that we will most likely be heading lower. We can see that we do have support from the daily 200 SMA and into this area close to 1.179, and that is also where we will find our monthly S2 pivot. Of course, if you can break higher, resistance will be found at this level at 1.205, with a break above that seeing price moving higher. Here with a brief overview of your economic calendar for the week. As you can see, there's quite a busy week ahead with many medium and high impact news events. So please take note of those times and trade smart. We're now looking at the GBPUSD, and we can see that although we do have this head and shoulders pattern that is technically still in play, our year-to-date as well as our quarter-to-date is still positive, with that swing point at 1.401, meaning that if we can get back above that, that will invalidate the head and shoulders and possibly set up targets in the vicinity of our monthly R1 to that area of overhead resistance at 1.438. However, if price continues to move down, areas of support can be found at 1.377, and with that head and shoulders target still at 1.343. Moving on now to the Australian dollar USD. Although we are currently struggling to make new highs, we can see from our yearly, quarterly, and monthly trend that we are still overall moving higher, with current resistance at the area of 0.782, with a break above that setting up new targets in the vicinity of 0.801 towards that upper diagonal. Of course, if price were to break lower and take out our weekly pivot at 0.772, that will probably see a retest of this area of support at 0.7638, with a break below that possibly targeting much lower areas towards the daily 200 SMA and a monthly S2 at 0.732. Having a look now at the NASDAQ 100. As you can see, we are still in an uptrend with the yearly, quarterly, and monthly price all pointing up. There is a head and shoulders pattern that could potentially be setting up, but as long as we remain above this daily 100 SMA, and that's above 12,650, the trend do remain up. There's some resistance at our weekly R1 area at about 13,280. Of course, a break above that would set up higher targets in the vicinity of 14,116 and even above. And then you can see we have some major support at 12,450, with a break below that setting up a short target of 11,920. That is near our daily 200 SMA and monthly S2 pivot. Having a look now at the DAX, and as you can see, the DAX, after breaking through previous resistance, is now painting a pretty bullish picture with the yearly, quarterly, and monthly all pointing up. We could perhaps expect a slight correction towards 14,350 level, that's the weekly pivot, as part of a correction, or perhaps even towards a support near 14,180. Although any break back above that high from last week at 14,600 will see price extending higher, and I've identified targets of 14,975. Of course, anything above that could also be possible. Moving on now to gold, and although we can see that gold is still stuck in this bearish trend with the yearly, quarterly, and monthly prices all pointing down, we have entered into an area of strong support with some signs of price bouncing from this level. And of course, as long as we also remain above this purple diagonal that I have on the screen, the long-term trend do remain up. As long as price can get above 1,740, I'd say there is more upside towards this area of resistance between 1,790 to about 1,810. And once price breaks that level, that will then establish a new bullish trend. Now concluding this week's technical market overview by looking at Bitcoin. We can see that Bitcoin is still making new highs, with price still in a strong bullish uptrend, with the yearly, quarterly and monthly prices all pointing up. We can see that we have some overhead resistance in the vicinity of 65,100, with some further bullish targets near the overhead diagonal resistance at about 69,500. We have some support and near the weekly pivot at 57,000, with a break below that diagonal, possibly seeing price move back into the area of support as highlighted on the screen near 46,200. That concludes our technical market overview. We hope you enjoyed the new format. Please remember to subscribe. And until next time, this is John Jacobs for RMDTRADER. Trade smart and trade successful.